I believe someone who's seated right before me taught history.
Well, English is good too.
My father was a history teacher, so it's always been near and dear to my heart.
Of course. And if you can't be a history teacher, then you might
Second best is English.
Second best is English.
Of course.
And the partnership is not productive in and of itself.
Right.
The partnership wouldn't be worth anything unless it was realized in student achievement. And I'm really happy to report that our school district has passed a benchmark.
Yes.
The state benchmark is 800 on the API, Academic Performance Index.
Right.
That's
now,
the
how
scoring
is that
system
measured?
in the state of
Is there a state test that comes out that every
California
student
standards tests, and grades 2 through 11.
Right.
There's a California high school exit exam figures in, and there's a few other elements in there as well. It all ends up being, if every child in a school scored perfectly, that school score would be 1,000.
Right, right.
Whitney, by the way, scored 988 on the standards test.
They probably should try a little harder then.
I'm thinking that the 12 points they missed was because the questions were written poorly and maybe even the answer sheet was wrong. They ought to look to see what the Whitney kids...
I think there's one kid who just tried to bomb the test.
And it might have been. That could be. Whitney, by the way, scored higher than any high school in the state of California for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
There's only one top-performing school in California this year and last year, and it's Whitney High School. Now, the entire district did well. We passed that 800 benchmark.
Right.
And scored 814.
Now,
on
this
the
was
academic
this was
performance
at
index.
there's 29 schools in the district, I believe. Across
30 schools, adult school, though it doesn't figure in to
Right.
the academic performance index.
So if we added up all their scores and divided by however the kind of the giant formula, the district score was 814. Right, and passing that 800 mark is quite an achievement.
A huge benchmark. Our increase in scores was more than double that any previous increase in test scores. And I attribute it, and we also cut $40 million from the budget.
See, I think that's what's most impressive is, so often it's easy to attach performance to the availability to spend or monetary resources, and that you might, on just a very basic logical level, go, well, if you're $40 million short, it's going to be really hard to just tread water, let alone increase.
Survive.
But to do that is quite a testament to the hard work of the people in the district.
So since we doubled our increase with cutting $40 million, I'm going to cut another $40 million next year.
Sale, 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 sale.
No, actually, we're not going to do
Okay,
that.
good.
But we are going to work hard on our, I think what happened, part of what happened, a couple of things. Cutting that much money, it forced us all to take a look at our core program.
Absolutely.
What's at the heart of what we do?
Right.
Let's eliminate some other things and concentrate on this. So we circled our wagons and protected ourselves.
Right.
We tried to keep we did lots of cuts, but we tried to do so away from the classroom.
Right.
The work of teachers and students is paramount in the district. The third thing, and other districts don't have this, was our teachers union. We were partners on the cuts. We worked with them in a preliminary fashion. We held discussions, in fact, with all of the employee groups. Before the final decisions were made, we kept ourselves informed, discussed where we're going, brainstormed ideas. Nothing that happened in this district was a surprise to anyone.
Right. Yeah, and I recall that over the past maybe 12 to 18 months, they're getting regular updates about, hey, this is the situation. And it was very black and white, and it wasn't a bunch of just vague language to try to
argumentative or angry
no, it was just,
or false.
This is
or
the facts,
like
and this is what's going to happen, or this is what could happen, and we'll find out more. And I guess even though some of those things stung, you still felt, hey, I'm being kept informed, and this is just the reality. This is not someone's whim. This is the state situation of which we're affected. And, I appreciated that. I never felt like I was being misled or tricked. So I can appreciate
So
that.
we completely fooled you. I mean,
what? Well, I'm just not that easy. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's,
Well, also you talked to some of the teachers from the districts around our area.
Oh, yeah.
And,
You heard a
there were a
different
lot
story.
of teacher layoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't do any layoffs
Nope.
of permanent employees.
Zero.
Alan's right. We worked together all the way through. No falsities. Some of the truth hurts, but it's the truth.
True,
Most
true.
school districts my colleagues, they're not even finished with last year's negotiations.
Yeah.
They're still working on those
It's a
things.
mess.
We finished it up. The teachers came in saying, let's take a look at 4 furlough days.
Right.
We all did that, all the employee groups, including management. The board, a few months ago, also cut their own salary by the same amount that we all had it cut.
And I know for me, I appreciated that in that it was hey, everyone's willing to make a sacrifice, you know, and it was equal in that it was the same percentage across the board. And I thought, you know, that's they didn't have to do that. That was a good
Most school
faith
boards
measure.
don't do work like
No,
that.
of course not. And when they did that, I thought, hey, I felt like you had mentioned, to bring it back, that it is a partnership, and everyone's like, hey, we're in this together to serve the students, and that was a good thing.
So that energy, you know, we could use the money, but how do you prosper? How do you do so well academically when you get cut by that much money? It's because we continue to work together in some strange way. The adversity that we faced with the budget, and this is the worst budget situation, probably even worse than the Great Depression. I mean, it's just, the folks from Sacramento are inconsistent, the information is not clear, the cuts are just horrible education, yet we prospered. It's because we continue to work together. As you know, we're not sitting back saying we're done.
Oh,
we're
no.
going to take a break. And this is not a perfect district. We still have an achievement gap.
Sure.
Some of our children are learning better than some of our other children.
Sure.
What are we going to do about the achievement gap with African American students and Hispanic students? Some of our children aren't learning at the level they should be.
Right.
We're going to do something about that. We're not going to back off or have less energy, regardless of how much money is cut. We're still going to dedicate ourselves to closing the achievement gap, to making sure as much as we can, every child gets better and better every day. We don't compromise on those kinds of things. We don't fight on those things.
Right.
We don't even disagree. Now, we brainstorm. We have different ideas.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing with us, and congratulations on being best superintendent of all time.
Thank you.
Celebration.
And it's the golden bell from the Unite show.
Well, that's
put
really
me
what
over the top.
kicked you over the top there. Well, good people there at home, if you'll stick around, we've always got so much more for you. So we'll be right back.